Hello everyone, happy Sunday! I'm Steve, Mark's at work, and this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Either welcome or welcome back. Still a weekend! So, I kept it pretty simple today. It's just coffee, some vanilla almond milk, and some erythritol. On the note of erythritol, I'm putting it in everything now. I had erythritol fail last night. I tried to make applesauce and use it as the sweetener. I'm not blaming the product. I screwed up. It was actually burning my mouth. I'm not sure what I did to it, and it wasn't the temperature that was doing it. So I'm gonna look up a recipe and we'll try that again. Um, but at any rate, Sundays sometimes are a good day for reflection for me because I usually don't have a whole lot to do, and Sundays most weeks in my head end at like 4 or 5 o'clock because that's when the case of the Mondays already begins. I'm a good ruminator like that. But here in the US, for anyone who's abroad, tomorrow's a holiday. It's Labor Day. My office is closed, so I have this 3-day weekend. And I thought I would take a little time to think about gratitude for a second. Now, gratitude can be perceived as kind of a flaky topic, so if you leave right now, thank you for watching and check in tomorrow. But for those of you who don't think it is such, I was introduced to this idea as something that's supposed to be helpful for mental health when I was going through drug and alcohol treatment. And one of the things they used to always put out there is saying a grateful heart will never drink or use or, do any of those bad habits. So making gratitude lists was something that was highly recommended in treatment and in some of the 12-step circles. It was advice from sponsors to sponsees, things like that. There would be meetings where the whole topic was gratitude. Those were kind of cheaty, easy ones because you just kind of get one to talk about it. And this video was one I wanted to be a little more interactive too. But even just thinking about the last few days, we try to stay positive. And if you watch the last couple videos, you'll know that we had hella fun doing the Golden Girls video. That it had a couple challenges with it. That we've had a little bit of car trouble, which is working itself out. And Mark's been in a good spot, but he's had to work a few days in a row. And I think I might have popped a rib out of place or something. So there's plenty to complain about if we look hard enough. But at the same time, if we look even a little closer with a slightly better attitude, there's some things to be grateful for in there. One, we had an incredible time doing videos this week. It was a lot of fun. Mark and I actually work very well together. I know sometimes couples or even family members, it's a nightmare to try to put things together and work it like that. Mark and I work together on the channel, and it's a lot of compromise, which is good because otherwise it would be, fights. Mark works at a restaurant that I used to work at when I was in high school. I mean, the place has been there for like 50 years. And same family, everything. And I've worked with him before doing catering gigs. I would get pulled in on the weekend and it was like a wedding or something like that. And I would go and serve food and do dishes or whatever. And we work together actually very well too. He's in a leadership position. I can just take my cues from him. So that's certainly something to be grateful for off the bat because pretty much our entire channel could be very messy. I think if we were sparring, you'd probably pick that up on camera, that we were in disagreement about what our videos should be about or something like that. So on that end, I was grateful that things worked out. I think if we're having fun, it's probably more fun for you guys to watch. That's my guess. When I watch other people in their videos, if it looks like they're having a good time and they're not like acting, you know what I mean? Then I seem to enjoy their videos more. It seems a little more authentic. On the issue of us getting our car fixed, my parents are, I've said before, saints to Mark and I. There's very little that if we ask them for help, that if they're able to do it, they do it. Mark and I lived with my parents together. I mean, I lived with my parents from like 2007 till 2014 because I moved back in with them when I started to get sick between mental illness and addiction and all that stuff. And they put up with me for a long time being sick. But then when I was well, I stayed there also. And Mark had moved in back and forth temporarily, off and on, and then moved in full time. We weren't a couple at the time. He lived with me and my parents for about 2 years as just my friend and a friend of the family. And then Mark and I became a couple, and shortly after we moved out and moved in here. So they've been very good to the both of us. So that's something to be grateful for also. And in the situation we're in at the moment with transportation issues, on a 3-day holiday weekend, they've still been very accommodating and said, you need to get to and from work. Mark does. You got to get to the grocery store, hold on to one of our cars because they have two. And, when you're done getting your stuff settled, just return it. And we were like, if you need it, it's yours. It's not ours. And they still gave us that leverage. So that's something definitely to be grateful for as well, that in circumstances like that, I have those people to kind of lean on. Because it's not the case for everybody. You don't get to choose your family. You can choose your friends. What is that old, little kids thing? You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. In poor taste, I know. That was bordering on a Chantal TMI. But, you don't get to pick your family. But I got lucky. They didn't pick me either. I didn't pick them, they didn't pick me. But we all get it together. And then, financially, we're in an okay spot that we can muscle through some of these changes. But even that has been, a bit of generosity. My pay increased a little bit at work, which was good because I'd been there for a long time, and for a number of different reasons, my pay was increased. We've had a bit of luck, actually. I'll let Mark tell you about that when we get to the Sunday mail call, but he had a little bit of good luck with some of his contests, which was helpful. There was some other things that actually had come up, and for any number of reasons that all stitched together, we're in an okay spot to pay for a car repair and not have to live on ramen noodles. Mark and I have a humble existence. We don't live in the lap of luxury, but we wouldn't trade our home for any other one right now. It's just the right size for us. If we had more rooms, I love Mark dearly. He'd feel compelled to fill them with more stuff. So I think we're okay where we are for the moment. This is not for our forever home, but for right now, it's perfectly lovely. Actually, the landlord was just here because it's, first of the month, the rent was due. And we had the rent in full, and we're able to pay it. Now, even just 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago, we were having some issues financially trying to keep everything together. We were borrowing money, and, my entire check, it was like I was just working for the rent. I'd cash my check, pay the rent, and that was it. And there was nothing left over. And Mark was only working as much as he could because Mark was sicker at the time, too. So things were in a bit of turmoil. But gratefully, Mark is a little bit healthier now and he can work when he can. Like I said, I'm in a good spot, financially better than I've been in over 10 years, I would say. And I've been able to stick with the same job for over 5 years because I'm sane, by the grace of God and psychotropic medications. I'm in an okay spot, better living through chemistry. So there's things along the way, even with life's snafus, because life is life. And I'm not trying to be a martyr about it, saying that, I'm an addict and I have a mental health problem. Both of those things are true. But having issues in your life is not unique to that. That's just part of having a life. That happens to everybody. So, just to have that backup, to have those things that make the journey a little bit easier along the way, and to give those the same amount of attention as the things that kind of drag me down a little bit, because how can I put this diplomatically? Not everything is flattering about myself. I'm not going to say yourself. I'm going to try to keep it to me, I, because I don't want to, when I talk about you, it feels accusatory. But I can be a touch self-centered when I'm in a mood, like one of those poor me, life is out to get me, what's coming next, where's the next shoe gonna drop, and all the things that are considered, however you frame it in your own life, in your own mind, whether it's just a fortunate turn of events, whether it's something you've earned for yourself, whether it's a blessing, a grace, a gift from God, however you frame it, those things in your life that make it good and make it easier when times are tough, to give those an equal amount of attention as well, because it makes the days easier, at least for me it does. It makes the days pass more lightly. It's something to hold on to. It's something to remember that things aren't all bad, even when it feels like things are all bad. Now, that's easier said than done. I deal with the swings of depression that come with my mental health, and Mark deals off and on with depression and thoughts like that as well. And so when you're in the thick of that, I can appreciate that it's challenging to think, what am I grateful for today? Because I've gotten to bed at the end of the day and thought, well, I didn't smack anybody, and that was, the thing I was grateful for. So be it. So be it. One day without simple assault, if that's all I got to hold on to, then that's a good day. Sometimes it's like, well, I have a pillow. Now that sounds kind of simple, but I remember being incarcerated and I didn't have a pillow for months. Now, being incarcerated was something I earned because of choices I made, so, it's not like I was a captive or a hostage. But in that scenario, in that situation, going to bed, a pillow wasn't something that you get, that you have. You don't get luxuries in a situation like that, and rightfully so. So when I got home, the idea that I had a pillow, nay, 2 or 3 pillows, I was so grateful to just be able to put my head down and to eat something that wasn't off a tray. So it's just little things like that. But, after a week or two of it, it was out of my mind, and it didn't even occur to me to be grateful about that again. Like it totally slips out of my head. So sometimes things like, when I think of things that were unfortunate in my life that used to be going on, and I forget that things were so hard and that it was fortunate for me to get out of those situations and that I had a hell of a lot of help getting out of those situations, that reminds me to keep the gratitude towards the front of my mind. I didn't land in jail, land in rehab, walk out sober, and find a good life because I did it all myself. I had a lot of help along the way. It would be easy to reframe this whole story as me being a hero. That's not true. It's not true at all. I'm not downgrading my own accomplishments. I'm not saying, I get no credit or anything like that. But it really did, frankly, take a village. And I think for a lot of us it does. So, again, keeping that kind of in the forefront. What am I grateful for today? What am I grateful for in my life? There's got to be something somewhere, even if I feel like absolute garbage and I can't see the bright side of anything. Maybe the only bit of gratitude is that that feeling may be temporary, that you remember that things used to be good and that they'll be good again, even if they stink right now. Maybe you're grateful that you can look around on YouTube and find other people who feel the way you feel and let them reassure you that bad times will pass. Anything you can do like that. So the last challenge of this video is to you. I would encourage you, anybody, and I've done this a couple other times, in the comments, leave something that you're feeling grateful for today. Anything. Nothing grand. Could be big. Could be small. The point, it helps me, so you're doing me a favor, because there's things in my life that are, again, you're fortunate, lucky, blessed, however you frame it, that sometimes we take for granted. You might have a suggestion of something that I would think, oh, well, I'm owed that. None of us are really owed anything. But that I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot that I'm fortunate to have that. Oh, I forgot I'm fortunate to have that. So I'd invite you to just leave in the comments section something that you're grateful for. Leave a couple things that you're grateful for. I think it's fun for me to look at other people's lives and see the things that are good in them also, because it reminds me of the things that are good in mine too, in case I've forgotten. So that's my challenge to you on this Sunday. Keep it light because it's supposed to be a day off. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the like button. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email and contact information is listed below for any correspondence. Thank you for watching. One programming note, this Friday, I will be home, Mark will be home. It's Mark's birthday. So usually Friday's coffee talk, but it's either going to get moved to Thursday or Saturday. So I just wanted to give you guys, anyone who tunes in for coffee talk, a heads up that the date of it's going to change. I'll let you know when we get closer. Okay? Thanks for watching. I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. Bye.